My husband always kept his work notebook locked in his desk. One day, I found the key. Inside, he had written pages of conversations, not with me, but with her. I can tell you anything. You get me like no one else does. My chest tightened. That night, I whispered, "Do I get you?" He looked up, confused, until he saw his notebook in my hands. His face went white as he realized. I had read everything. I, 44 female, had been married to Daniel, 47 male, for 22 years. We lived just outside Dallas, Texas, in a quiet neighborhood where most people know each other by name. We raised 2 kids together, both out of the house now. I thought we were doing okay. Daniel works as a regional manager for a freight logistics company. He's been with them for over 15 years. He travels often, Houston, Austin, even out to New Mexico sometimes. Always busy. Always something going on. Or so he said. He's always been a private guy when it comes to work. I respected that. But there was one thing that never sat right with me, the black leather-bound notebook he kept locked in his office desk at home. It wasn't just work notes like he said. I mean, who locks up a notebook if it's just business stuff? I never pushed it. I trusted him. Until things started to shift. He stopped talking to me unless it was about bills or groceries. No more evening walks. No more, "How was your day?" He started coming home later, smelling like mint gum and hotel soap, even when he swore he hadn't left the office. I asked once, jokingly, "You seeing someone at work?" He laughed too hard. Way too hard. Then one Friday night, something happened that changed everything. Daniel went out for what he said was a last-minute team dinner with a client flying in from Atlanta. He kissed my cheek, told me not to wait up. I didn't. But the next morning, I found something he never meant for me to find. He'd left his keyring on the kitchen counter. Not just his car and house keys, but the tiny silver one I'd seen him use to open his desk drawer. My heart started pounding. I stared at that key for a long time. My stomach twisted. I wish I could say I put it back. I didn't. I walked into his office, sat at his desk, and unlocked the drawer. Inside was the black notebook. It looked ordinary. Leather cover, a little worn at the edges. I flipped it open. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely read at first. The first page was nothing. Some scribbles, names, numbers. But then I flipped a few more pages and stopped cold. Page after page, not business notes. Not to-do lists. It was all writing. Personal. Like a journal. But it wasn't a journal. It was full of conversations. One side of the page, his words. The other side, hers. I thought maybe it was roleplay at first. Maybe some story writing thing? But no. These were real. Real messages he had copied down. Some were labeled by date and location. Some pages even had lipstick kisses. Real lipstick. Smudged onto paper like she had kissed the damn page for him. My throat closed up. I started reading. I couldn't stop. It was like watching a slow-motion car crash. He called her S. No full name, just S. Every message felt like a punch to the gut. You get me like no one else does. Sometimes I feel like I'm only alive when I'm with you. She doesn't understand me anymore. I could stay in this hotel bed forever with you. That last one had a date. 2 months ago. He said he was in El Paso on a freight inspection. That night I was home with a migraine, and he had texted me, "Hope you feel better soon, babe." I cried that night because I felt like such a burden to him. Turns out he wasn't thinking about me at all. There were drawings. Little hearts. Her handwriting, scribbled notes. A receipt from a restaurant in Austin. Taped in. I checked the date. He told me that day he was stuck in meetings and would be too tired to call. I stayed up and left him a voicemail telling him I missed him. He never called back. I read for over an hour. Then I heard the garage door. I shoved everything back into the drawer, locked it, and ran to the kitchen like nothing happened. He walked in, humming, smiling. That night, we got into bed like usual. He picked up his phone, scrolled like always. I stared at the ceiling, my heart breaking open inside my chest. He finally said, "She's a friend. I met her at a logistics conference in Austin a couple years ago. We just connected. But nothing happened. Not physically. I swear." I laughed. It was bitter and ugly. Do you write love notes to all your friends? Do they kiss your notebook pages too? He had no answer. I got up and went to the living room. He didn't follow. That was 3 weeks ago. He's still in the house. We haven't told the kids. He keeps trying to talk, but I can't hear it. I see his face and all I can think about are the words he gave to someone else. Words he hasn't said to me in years. He begged me not to tell anyone. But I feel like I'm drowning in silence. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I know one thing, I can't unsee what I saw. I can't unread those words. I haven't decided if I'll confront S yet. I haven't even opened that drawer again. But part of me wants to meet her. Look her in the eye. Ask her if she feels proud. Ask her if she really gets him, because right now, I don't know who the hell this man in my house even is. 3 days after I confronted Daniel, he started leaving post-it notes around the house. I guess it was his way of trying to apologize without saying the words out loud. The first one was stuck to the bathroom mirror, "You're the love of my life. I made a mistake. I'm sorry." The second was in the fridge, taped to my Tupperware of leftover stew, "You always take care of me. I've been a fool." The third one was tucked inside the laundry basket, "Don't give up on me." I didn't reply. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I had too much. Every time I opened my mouth, I felt like screaming. Instead of responding, I started looking. Not at him. At everything else. My phone. The notebook. My memory. And then, I made a decision. I went back to the drawer when Daniel was at work. This time I read every single page. I used my phone to take pictures of the ones that hit me the hardest. And then I saw something new. A printed email. Folded neatly and slid between the pages like it was precious. Like it was a keepsake. It was from S. Sent to his work email. It wasn't romantic. Not at first glance. It looked like just a few lines confirming hotel bookings for a trade show in San Antonio. But something felt off. There was a sentence near the end that read, "I'll meet you at the Marriott lobby at 8. Bring the wine like last time, winky face, like last time." My stomach dropped. I opened his laptop. I knew his password. I always had. He never changed it. His mother's birthday. I searched her email. There she was. Sierra Barnes. I don't know why, but seeing her full name felt like a knife to the gut. Like it made her more real. I clicked through the emails. Most were from his work account. Then I noticed something weird. A separate Gmail account. Not his usual one. A different one I'd never seen. And it was synced. Somehow, probably accidentally. That's when I found the real bombshell. Hundreds of emails. Some short. Some long. Some of them just one word, "Now." "Here." "Waiting." The subject lines were cryptic. Meeting notes. Invoice. Schedule. But they weren't about work. Not at all. They talked about everything. Her kids. Her divorce. How she hated sleeping alone and missed the way he smelled in the morning. I couldn't breathe. But then, I found an email she sent just 2 weeks ago. while I was cooking dinner and he told me he was stuck late on a Zoom call. I can't do this anymore. She doesn't deserve this. You need to choose. So I printed that one out too. The next day, I finally told my best friend, Rachel. She's the type who doesn't sugarcoat anything. When I showed her the email and told her about the notebook, her mouth dropped open. You sure she doesn't live around here? She asked. That thought hadn't crossed my mind. Not really. But now. I did some digging. I still had Sierra's work signature from the email. It listed her as a regional sales director. The company was based in Frisco. Less than an hour away. I Googled her. Found her LinkedIn. Her Facebook. She had 2 kids. Recently divorced. Liked hiking. Loved sunflowers. There were pictures of her and Daniel, nothing obvious. But one photo from a business trip in Galveston showed a group dinner. I zoomed in. There he was, sitting right next to her. Laughing. Her hand was almost touching his leg under the table. Suddenly, I remembered something else. 6 months ago, Daniel was in a car accident. Just a fender bender. He came home rattled. I asked if he was okay. He brushed it off. Said he was alone. But his insurance bill listed a second driver. That night, I didn't ask questions. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I left the police report, the email, and a printed photo of the notebook pages on the kitchen table. Then I went to stay with Rachel. Daniel blew up my phone all night. Voicemails. Texts. One said, "Please, don't ruin this." Ruin what? I wanted to scream. Our family? Our life? Our marriage? But I stayed silent. The next day, he showed up at Rachel's doorstep. He looked like hell. Dark circles. Unshaven. Wrinkled shirt. He asked me to talk. I told him to sit. I need the truth, I said. All of it. Right now. Or I swear to God I will leave and never look back. He nodded slowly. Then he did something I didn't expect. He told me the truth. At least, most of it. They met 3 years ago. At a regional logistics conference in Fort Worth. They talked. They clicked. At first, it was emails. Then coffee. Then hotel rooms. It wasn't just once. It was dozens of times. All while I made excuses for his late nights and team dinners. He said he tried to stop it. But he also said he loved her. And that was the moment everything inside me cracked open. He said it with tears in his eyes. He begged me to forgive him. He said he'd end it. But then he said something else I didn't see coming. She was going to tell you. That hit me harder than anything else. Sierra wasn't just some fling. She had power. And she was done hiding. Now, everything's in limbo. I don't know if I'm going to confront her. I don't know if I'll kick him out. I don't know if I'll burn that notebook or mail it to her house. All I know is, this isn't over yet. Not even close. A few days after Daniel's confession, I was sitting alone at a little coffee shop in Richardson, trying to gather my thoughts. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. 10 minutes later, another buzz. Voicemail again. Curiosity got me. I played it. A woman's voice. Soft, careful. Almost shaking. Hi, I'm not sure if this is. Look, my name is Sierra. I know this is a shock. But I think we need to talk. Woman to woman. Please call me back. I nearly dropped the phone. She called me. I didn't even know how she got my number. Maybe she found it on one of the emails, or maybe Daniel gave it to her without realizing. Maybe she had it saved from somewhere, from some point they crossed lines too far. For an hour I just sat there, staring at the phone. Then I called her back. It went straight to voicemail. I didn't leave a message. But a few hours later, she texted. I'm not trying to cause drama. But he's lying to both of us. There's more you don't know. I froze. Another twist. Another crack in the mirror. I waited until Daniel came home. He looked relieved to see me still there. He tried to kiss me on the cheek like everything was normal. I stepped back. I told him Sierra called me. He panicked. Tried to play it off. She's just angry. Don't listen to her. She's trying to turn you against me. That was when I asked the question I hadn't dared to yet. Are you still seeing her? His mouth opened, but nothing came out. I need to know. Not what you think I want to hear. The truth. He looked down. Rubbed his hands together. Silent. Then finally, he said it. Yes. I felt like the air got sucked out of the room. I told her I was ending it, he said, voice shaking. I tried. But I couldn't. I thought I could fix this with you first. I just needed time. Time. He thought he had time. What he didn't know was that I had already made up my mind. I texted Sierra again. What did you mean when you said there's more? She replied 5 minutes later, meet me. I'll tell you everything. In person. Bring the notebook. I didn't tell Daniel. I just said I was going to the store. I met Sierra at a public park in Frisco. Middle of the day. Safe. Open. I almost didn't recognize her at first. She looked tired. Not like the polished, flirty woman I imagined from those emails. She looked like someone who hadn't slept right in weeks. She didn't smile. Neither did I. We sat down on a bench. She went first. I didn't know he was still living with you, she said. He told me you were separated. That you knew about me. That you two were working things out, but that it was basically over. My stomach turned. I believed him. God, I was stupid. I didn't want to be the other woman. I told him he had to be honest with you or I would be. That's why I emailed him last week. Then she said something that made me go completely still. I'm pregnant. Everything went blurry. I didn't plan it. I'm not trying to trap him. I even considered not keeping it. But then I thought, you should know. You deserve to know what kind of man he really is. I stood up. Had to breathe. I thought I might pass out. She reached into her purse and pulled something out. A sonogram. She held it out to me like proof. I didn't come here to fight, she said. I'm done with him too. I just thought you should hear it from me before he spins it his way. I left without saying a word. I drove for an hour with no destination, just silence and road and the sound of my own breath shaking. When I finally got home, Daniel was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables like nothing had happened. Like we were still pretending. I dropped the sonogram on the table. He turned, saw it, and stopped moving. He didn't even ask how I got it. All he said was, it was just once. Just once. Like that made it better. Like that explained the notebook. The emails. The 3 years of lies. I didn't answer him. I went upstairs. Locked the door. Sat on the bed with the notebook in my lap. I thought about burning it. But a sick part of me wants to keep it. Not to hold on to him, but to remind myself what it looks like when love turns into lies. That night, I heard Daniel cry through the door. It didn't move me. The man I thought I married doesn't exist anymore. And now there's a baby on the way. From her. I don't know what I'm going to do next. But I know this story isn't over. Not even close. The next day, I told Daniel we needed to tell the kids. He froze. Our daughter, Mia, 21, was in her last semester at UT Austin. Our son, Travis, 19, had just started trade school in Denton. They were young, but not children. They deserved the truth. I can't keep pretending, I told him. They'll find out eventually. Might as well be from us. He argued at first. Said it would destroy them. I told him he already had. We agreed on Sunday dinner. It was the only time both kids could make it. I cooked like I always did, pot roast, mashed potatoes, green beans. My hands moved automatically, but my heart wasn't in it. I kept imagining their faces. The moment it would all unravel. They came home smiling, joking. Mia brought her boyfriend. Travis talked about his welding class. I nodded, laughed at the right moments. Daniel barely spoke. After we cleared the plates, I sat down. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might faint. I have something to tell you both, I said. Daniel cleared his throat. Tried to jump in. I cut him off. No. I'll say it. I looked at my children, my whole world, and felt my throat tighten. Your father has been having an affair. The room went still. I heard the clink of Mia's fork hitting her plate. Travis blinked, slow. What? With a woman named Sierra. For 3 years. And now, she's pregnant. Mia gasped. Her boyfriend's eyes widened. Travis leaned back like he'd been punched. Daniel tried to speak. Kids, listen, Mia stood up so fast her chair scraped the floor. Are you serious? Her voice cracked. You've been lying to Mom and screwing someone else? 4 years? Travis didn't say a word. He just stared at his dad like he didn't recognize him. Daniel reached for him. Son, please, Travis shoved his hand away. Don't touch me. Then Travis turned to me. Mom. I'm so sorry. That's when I broke. The tears came, not loud or messy, just silent and endless. Mia sat beside me and held my hand. Travis walked out the door and didn't come back for 2 days. Daniel stood there, helpless, pathetic, his face pale and shaking. I didn't mean for this to happen, he said. I still love your mom. Mia looked at him like he was filth. Love? You don't do this to someone you love. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. The next day, Sierra showed up at my house. I was out front watering the bushes. She pulled up in a silver SUV and stepped out, looking hesitant. I didn't come to fight, she said, holding her hands up. I nodded. Then why are you here? I told him it was over, she said. He's been calling, begging. I blocked him. I needed you to know that. I'm keeping the baby. But I want nothing else from him. I believed her. She looked tired. Hollow. Like she'd lost something too. I didn't know he hadn't told you, she added. I thought I was the only one he was lying to. I gave her a long look. We were both the other woman, I said. She nodded. And then she left. Daniel tried to fix things after that. He went to therapy. Bought flowers. Cleaned the house. Sat through long silences, waiting for me to speak. But I was done. One morning, I handed him a list of apartment rentals and a printed separation agreement. I told him he had until the end of the month. He begged. He cried. He said he couldn't live without me. But I already had. 4 years. While he was with her. While I cooked his meals, washed his clothes, raised his children, and he wrote love notes in hotel beds. He moved out 2 weeks later. Mia didn't speak to him for 3 months. Travis still barely does. We agreed to keep things civil for holidays, but nothing feels the same. Rachel, my best friend, helped me get through the hardest days. She called it what it was. A betrayal so deep it cut through the bones of everything I thought I knew. Sometimes I miss him. Or rather, I miss who I thought he was. But mostly, I don't. I started seeing a therapist. I joined a painting class. I got a dog. It's strange. There's a sadness that lives inside me now, but also something else. Peace. And maybe even power. Because I know who I am now. I'm the woman who walked through fire. And I didn't burn. Love doesn't disappear overnight. But truth doesn't lie still either. It finds its way out. And when it does, you either hide or you face it head on. I faced it. And I survived. Still healing. Still learning. Still unsure. But alive. And this time, it's my story to write.